doing that. Oh, there it is. All right. Hey, a big thank you to our West Sydney church family for leading our worship today. It was it's been actually I was in the front of the house and I was working away on our topic for today, and then I hear the guitar play, and I'm like, that does not sound like Nathaniel. It's like, that's my wife, and she hasn't played the guitar in over 2 years. So it was really good to have her lead our worship time today and sing. It was a real blessing to have that. I like it when my wife dances, and I like it when my wife sings, and she did both today, so I'm really happy about that. So, excuse me, I'm just getting really excited right now. Yeah, if you guys just leave, yeah. Let me pray for it, if you can just leave. Are we good, Shekinah? Are we, am I adult children in the back are going, oh, that's just gross, man. Yeah. Delete this off YouTube. This is not going on YouTube. We got a lot of families missing today. A lot of people going on holiday. Funny story, some of our families have gone on holiday because of school holidays, and they don't have children to go to school, so it's quite interesting. It's hilarious to hear that story. Anyway. Yeah. Can we just... we'll just list them on YouTube, yes, so all the YouTubers can hear. And thank you to Lassie today for our excellent activity. I love the way she wove in our topic in the process. Quit lying. Yeah, so Ray and Frank need to quit lying, especially to their wives. All right. So last month we started our series called iQuit, and we're learning about 8 things that we need to quit to grow emotionally and spiritually mature as followers of Jesus. And we're basing this all off the work of Peter Scazzero and Jerry Scazzero out in New York and some books that they have written. So the talks are on YouTube. Really good to see 2 views of our last talk. Oh, they're all here. They're all here today, that day. Oh, okay. All right. And good to see. And good to see one person open up the cell group conversation and work through that as well. That was really good. Makes me feel good, like put all that effort into it, So, It was me and Lewis with the only views. Oh, here's a recheck. Did I say that right? I was just fact checking, yeah. So in the beginning of March, Key took us through an introduction to our series and talked about approval addiction and how we need to quit. And an approval addict is someone who lives a life in constant worry or fear of what others are thinking. Turn to your neighbor and say, that's not me. So that's a really challenging topic to get us started off, quitting our approval addictions. We follow that up with, besides the lying pandemic that sweeps our world at the moment, the bigger lying pandemic is the fact that people lie. And we talked about how we need to quit lying, and the lying that we need to quit essentially is managing people's perceptions of us. The reason why we lie is to manage how people see us, think about us, talk about us, etc., etc. So the challenge around that was about speaking truth and speaking it in love. And then Lewis encouraged us to stop dying to the wrong things. A lot of us, especially Christians, we tend to die to the things that bring us life, like joy, pleasure, etc., like the outdoors, socializing, music, dance, yeah, sport, reading, yeah. Okay, all right, don't worry about it. Okay. Exercise, yeah, no exercise. Yeah, we die to the wrong things like healthy eating, right? Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, what about prayer? Yeah, we die to that, right? We don't do that a lot. Church, I don't know how many people in the journey in pastoral ministry have come up to me and said, look, I'm so busy, I'm getting burnt out, so I'm just going to stop doing church for a while. I'm like, that's the first thing you should be doing, not the first thing you should be quitting. So it's really discouraging when I see that. And Christians, they get into that space where they die to the wrong things. The things that we should be dying to really are envy, hate, critical attitudes, perfectionism, resentment, judgmentalism, not looking at anyone when I say that, workaholism, time wasting on social media, and Netflix. Yeah. No, okay, nah, I can't die to that, eh? I cannot die to that. I must live for Netflix. So this week, today we are discussing quitting to denying anger, sadness, and fear. So let me go back to this a little bit, just to give a little bit of background. One of the key things to ensuring we die to the right things is ensuring we are self-aware. Self-awareness is highly important. Knowing thyself enables thyself to identify the things we each need to die to and not to die to. Knowing thyself also means embracing the range of emotions every follower of Jesus, men, women, and children, goes through, including those emotions that Christians are taught are bad, like anger, sadness, and fear. And we'll explore that in a little bit more detail. But I have a question for you. How do you handle your feelings of anger, sadness, and fear? Do you suppress it? Okay, there we go. Do you deny it? Do you get over it? Do you ignore it? How do you handle your feelings of anger, sadness, and fear? Or do you embrace it? Do you process it? Do you think on it? And then do you learn from it? Yeah, no. How about this one? How did your family handle feelings of anger, sadness, and fear? With your neighbor, 2 minutes, answer that question. Please, with your neighbor. Alrighty. Hey, let's big group share, huh? Just yell out, how did your family that you grew up in handle anger? Yell? Okay. Intimidate? Violent outbursts? Same? All right. Anyone else? Huh? Yeah, that's my family growing up. Anger publicly was not displayed unless my dad got really angry at a church member, and then he gave him a hiding. Besides that, anger was not shown publicly until we got home, and then they would lash out. And one of the things was I wasn't allowed to get angry at home. Anyone else like that? If you got angry, you got a hiding. And yeah, my parents. Yeah. What about sadness? How did your family handle sadness? You didn't see it? Yeah. Okay, all right. Anyone else? Same? Yeah. Yeah, your dad's a sook. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, growing up, if we cried, we got a hiding for crying. Does anyone else like that? Just stop it. Stop it. You want to cry some more? Yeah. You want me? I'll make you cry for real. You want to cry for real? Exactly. For crying for Gina. Yeah. I love it. What about fear? How did your family handle fear growing up? No such thing. No such thing as fear. Weakness is a weakness. Yeah. Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, my parents will say, "I make a palai for." And in English, it's why are you scared? No reason to be scared. Yeah. Here's some interesting statements from people who know a little bit about this stuff. How your family dealt with anger, sadness, and fear tells you a lot about how you handle your own anger, sadness, and fear. Now, that's pretty logical, right? That's common sense. Yeah. I mean, your sibling will say to you, "Man, you're just like your dad. You're just like dad. You're just like your dad." Or, but this is a more scary one. It also gives you an indication of how your children, present or future, will handle anger, sadness, and fear. How about this? If you do not permit your children, present and future, to express their anger, sadness, or fears in healthy ways, they will find unhealthy ways to express those feelings. And that is so true because that's the world I grew up in. And when I have those feelings, I do the same to my children as my parents did to me. And by God's grace, I'm beginning to break that cycle. Yeah. So here's a question. What's the problem with not dealing healthily with anger, sadness, fear? Let's answer this as a big group. What do you all think? What's the problem with not dealing healthily with anger, sadness, and fear? So the pain gets stuffed down? Right. Yeah. So the thing is then, if I'm hearing what you're saying, the challenge is that you would have to come face to face with your true self. Mm. Yeah. Almost always is. Yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yep. Impacts your awareness with relationship with others. Nice. Very good. Yeah. And you become the different versions of yourself depending on who you're with. Yeah. Mm. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, good question. Yeah. 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 Because it's easy, right? It's easy to go the default approach your whole life with anger, sadness, and fear. Yeah. Generational stuff. Yeah. 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 And it's hard work. So come back to what Ray said. It's really hard work to do that whole assessing why I'm angry, why I'm sad, why I'm fearful, and processing those emotions. Yeah. Good stuff. Any other thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. I'd say that the person who constantly explodes in anger needs counseling too. But you're right. It's like a two-step thing, right? You gotta unlearn the wrong way of dealing with the stuff and relearn a new healthy way of dealing with it, right? But you're right. It requires shedding a whole lot of generational behavior and thinking. Yeah, it's good. Any other thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. So that's where church becomes so important, right? And it's because church, church here is a safe space, right? I'm not going to talk about other churches, but at least here it's a very safe space. Yeah. Yeah. No. Good stuff. Awesome. Key, you're going to say, and then we'll go to Jared. Yeah. 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 That's good. Very good. I'm loving this. Really enjoying the conversation. Go, Jay. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yep. Yes. 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 Mm. Yeah. 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 Yes. 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 Yeah. 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 And all of that connects back to dying to the wrong things, which leads to lying, which leads to the approval addiction. It all builds on each other. Huh? Good stuff. I love it. All right. Let's keep this conversation going, huh? Let's unpack a little bit these three emotions. Firstly, anger. What's the most memorable Bible verse you know about anger? Yeah. Yeah. Is that a Bible verse? Stay away from angry people. I like it. It's paraphrasing. It's the message. Oh, it's the whanga. It's the whanga version, huh? I like it. For me, it was this verse, huh? Be angry and do not sin. do not let the sun go down on your anger. So, what do Christians normally do with a verse like that? Or even the be slow to anger. What do Christians do with verses like that? It's sinful to be angry. Don't get angry. And how do non-Christians apply that to Christians? Same way, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're a Christian. Aren't you a Christian? Jesus was a nice guy. He never hated anyone. He never got angry. So here's a question for you. Why do people get angry? Hurt? I heard hurt. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Can't control the situation. Injustice. Let me put these out for you because I'm summarizing what you guys said. Values are being violated. That's the injustice stuff. You've crossed my boundaries. Right? You've done the wrong thing, etc. There are deeper emotions. Anger is just the one that's publicly seen, right? But there are more deeper emotions, feelings of hurt, frustration, etc. Like me driving this morning, doing 90 Ks and 50 Ks. I'm going to delete that bit because I'm angry at my wife because I was sitting in the car waiting for half an hour. Then she comes down, she says, I'm going in the silver car. I went, if I had known that, I would have gone like half an hour ago. So I'm like, and she comes at the very back of the van going, Jesus, please help us get there safely. And then she thinks that's like, woo! Different kind of excitement. All right. And one of the things about anger, rather than dealing with the deeper emotions, is that it's easier to lash out in anger than it is to express the deeper emotions, whether they be hurt, shame, etc. All right. And this one, we have unmet expectations, right? Huh? Yeah. like I'll walk through the door. This is a long time ago, right? Walk through the door after work, and there's no and dinner's not on the table, and I'm like slamming doors now, blah, blah, blah. She's kind of thinking about that, yay, hi. And there was no conversation between Charlotte and I about what happens when it comes to dinner. So unmet expectations. She should know, wow. Wow. Whoa. Yeah. They come in, bring it up, bro. Just let it out, bro. Come on. Safe place, bro. Safe place. So when it comes to unmet expectations, there's a 4 uns around this. I don't know if you remember this. We talked about this at couples as well. There's expectations are unconscious, they are unrealistic, they're unspoken, and they're unagreed upon. So the unconscious is you don't even know you had that expectation, right? You walk through the door and expect dinner, but you didn't realize, I actually expect dinner to be ready. The unrealistic one is, well, that's not realistic because Charlotte walked in the door 5 minutes earlier. Who do you think you are? Right? I'm looking at Pate when I say that. Oh, sorry, no, God. As unspoken as you've never had the conversation about the expectation. And unagreed upon is you didn't actually agree to that expectation. So that's how you end up with unmet expectations. The last reason why people get angry is we have a sin issue. Anger can reveal pettiness, arrogance, hatred, envy, even a desire to hurt someone. By the way, how do you know when you're angry? Because sometimes your brain takes a long time to catch up to what's going on in your body, right? Right? Your body knows when you're angry before your brain realizes you're angry. So, any ideas? Huh? The hormones change? Really? Right. Would you explain that some more, please? Unpack the hormone. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I like clenched fists, clenched teeth. My wife says to me, why are your eyebrows pointy? Are you angry? I'm like, I'm not angry. That's totally obvious, yeah. But my brain isn't catching up to what's going on in my body. Heart starts racing. The non-physical stuff is the sarcasm, the critical language, attitude, the passive-aggressive slamming of the bedroom door or the car, turning up the stereo in the car because you don't want to talk anymore. Turning it off. Wow. Okay. Confession. Okay, what about sadness? What's the most memorable verse you can think of when it comes to sadness? Jesus wept. This is the one for me. What do most Christians do with that verse? Yeah. Always. Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing I thought when I was reflecting on this stuff. That's the first Bible verse that came into my head. You're not allowed to be sad. It's a sin for you to be sad because you're supposed to always be joyful, always be happy. What makes people sad? Yeah. It's really just one thing, it's loss. Yeah. It's loss. Loss is what makes people sad. We lose people, we lose relationships, we lose friends. We may lose a marriage. We may lose a job, lose our health, lose our home, lose our dreams, lose our community. By the way, when it comes to sadness, there's a family of emotions around sadness, and they are loneliness, hurt, discouragement, depression, and gloominess. That's the family of emotions. So if you think, I'm not sad, but if you're feeling quite depressed or discouraged, it's still that same family. There's a sense of loss that's caused the sadness for you. Well, fear. What's the most memorable verse that comes to mind for you when you hear the word fear? Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Do not be afraid. Believer in Jesus, do not be afraid. So what do I do with my fear? What do I do with my nervousness? What do I do with my anxiety? I suppress it. I tuck it in. Okay. Ray tucks it in. Fear is weak. Fear is the enemy of faith. I used to say that saying a lot. Yeah, perfect love casts out all fear. So I mustn't have the love of God in me because I'm feeling fearful right now. So what do people fear? The unknown? Yeah. Yeah, uncertainty, what's ahead? Loss? Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Monsters. Okay, monsters. You're talking about the Nephilim, right? No. Oh, you were actual monsters. Okay, all right. You talking about Joe Biden? No, okay, all right. Anyone else? Any other? Yeah, this guy here spent 30 years researching fear. And he puts all our human fears into 3 categories. And every man, woman, and child fits into one of these 3 categories, or more than one, depending on the situation. Some people fear making mistakes. These people are often perfectionists who dread disappointing others and themselves. They fear criticism, whether it is real or imagined. So it drives them to set unrealistic expectations for themselves or for others. So that's the fear of making a mistake. Some people fear rejection. These people struggle to join a new group. They have a hard time having a conversation with a boss or a loved one. They're the kind of child that doesn't raise their hand in class. They're driven by their concern for what others will think and how they will judge them. Thank goodness none of us fit into those categories, eh? We have overcome. Do not be afraid. Some people fear the consequences of relaxing. They have a difficult time letting down their guard. They maintain a vigilant and defensive posture through life out of fear that someone or something will hurt them. And that goes back to control. Yeah. Any thoughts? Huh? All right. I want to invite you to split into 3 groups. Oh, look, we've got one group here, one group there, one group there. Excellent. All right, fantastic. So what we're going to do is, there are 3 characters, and there's some scripture connected to each of those characters. And what I want you to do is, as a group, read through the story and work through these questions. Now, there's an emotion attached to each one of these 3 Bible characters. Anger, sadness, and fear. I want you to focus on that particular emotion for that character. Hey church family, so the recording stopped on Sabbath and we couldn't finish, well, it didn't record the conclusion post our group discussion regarding our topic, anger, sadness and fear. So I thought I'd do this recording so you can get the conclusion to the conversation on Sabbath. So after our group conversation, we were looking to answer the question that's on your screen now. What is a healthy approach to dealing with anger, sadness, and fear? And Jericho Zero suggests 3 things that you can do to deal appropriately and healthily with anger, sadness, and fear. And the first one is feel your feelings. The proverb says, "Trust in Him at all times, O people, pour out your heart before Him. God is a refuge for us." That's Psalm 62 verse 8. Sorry, it's not a proverb, it's a psalm. Pouring out your heart means knowing your heart. And when it comes to anger, sadness, and fear, that means being aware and acknowledging those sets of emotions. And a really useful way to pour out your heart, to be really aware of your emotions and how you're feeling, especially around anger, sadness, and fear, is to perhaps write that stuff down, to journal your feelings so that it grows your self-awareness, and that will help you with the feeling your feelings. All right, so that's the first step. The second step is to think through your feelings. The proverb says, whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. In other words, don't act on your feelings until you've thought through your feelings. Otherwise, your feet will go the wrong way. That's my application of that particular proverb. So it's great to feel your feelings, and it's such an important step, is to feel your feelings, to be really aware of your feelings and to acknowledge your feelings. And then the next step isn't just to act on those feelings, but to think through those feelings and to ask yourself, why am I feeling angry? Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling fearful? So feel your feelings, think through your feelings, and lastly, take appropriate action. And that action may be that you make that phone call. You have that hard conversation. It may be simply that you pour out to God your anger, your frustration, your confusion at Him. Maybe that's you're angry at God. So one of the key things to do in this space in terms of dealing appropriately with your anger, sadness, and fear is to take the appropriate action, but only after you've felt your feelings, you've thought through your feelings. Then you can take the appropriate action. One of the things we did on Sabbath, for those who weren't there, is we sang Made Me Glad. And it's a really old classic song that I've always enjoyed. It's a real blessing in my life. And the words of Made Me Glad are essentially that God is our deliverer. He's our portion. He's our strong tower. He's the one who saves us. It's Him who makes us glad. The thing is, you don't know you're glad, and God can't make you glad until you express how not glad you are. And for many of us, the only way we can find deliverance from our anger, sadness, and fear through our God is if we first express our anger, sadness, and our fear. And many Christians throughout their entire lives have been taught, you do not express your anger, your sadness, and fear. To do so is a sin. And I want to tell you today, family, that the key to finding deliverance and to have God make us glad is firstly, if we feel those feelings. Secondly, think through those feelings and then take the appropriate action. All right, blessings to you. There's some reflection questions after the video, so check those out as well. Looking forward to worshiping with you on Sabbath.